I would probably want to play in like France. Keep your focus like at a good point in a stance, because a crowd can easily like just one bad comment that you might not like, throw you off your game. So it's like, I'm gonna show you better than I could tell you. So, trying to get a bucket, or trying to flaunt a little bit to change needs to be. And it's cool for middle school. But high school, I feel like there should be a shot clock.
Oh, fantastic. There she is. Welcome to the podcast, Chelsea.
Thanks for having me.
Let me introduce you to our audience. Chelsea started her college career at Nicholls State. She established herself as a top player in the Southland Conference, playing 73 games for the Colonels, averaging 11.7 points and 5.9 rebounds per game. The leading scorer in the last 2 seasons with the team, and finished second in the Southland Conference score in both years. She's also been an All-Louisiana first, preseason first, number of players of the week at Colanders, All Southland first team, lots of different rewards that she's achieved. And now she's in her 5th year of playing for Indiana State Sycamores. I also meant to mention Chelsea's SPRTER profile on the SPRTER app, where she's offering awesome experiences. So head over there, connect with her, and request some pretty amazing experiences, such as a personalized trick shot, game film review, playing, training plan, and much more. Welcome to the show. Let's dive in. How did you start playing basketball? Walk me through it.
So I started playing when I was about 5. It was a league like where I'm from. It's called AYBA, like Ascension Youth Basketball Association. And I just kind of started from there. My mom just put me in it because my brother was playing, and she tells me all the time, like, she thought I was going to be like a model or something. She didn't think I was going to take basketball serious, but I did. I didn't play any other sports, so it was just basketball. Really, sorry.
Wow, that's very early, 5 years old. And have there been gaps in between, or did you always play basketball? I always felt like this is my sport.
Yeah, I always play basketball. I kind of did cheer and stuff like that, but consistently it was basketball. And around, I want to say 5th grade is when I started playing AAU.
And what made basketball so special for you? Why basketball? Why not other sports?
I really just didn't play any other sports, really. I sometimes like reflect and I'm like, dang, I probably should have played like more sports like volleyball or something like that. But it's okay. I love basketball.
And it seems like you made quite a career out of it. So it seems like that's been working out really well for you. I want to delve deeper on that process. You were on track to reach 1,000 career points. How did that make you, when you were just there, how did that make you feel? How did it make you play differently?
I did reach 1,000. Oh, you talking about at Nicholls?
Right. So when you were on track, you're like, okay, well, I'm, like 900 and something. It's like, am I going for this ball, or am I cool with the assist? So leading up to that, and what did that moment then feel when you actually reached 1,000?
I seen the numbers that I was close to it. And it was kind of just like a situation. Like, it wasn't me trying to, oh, let me get this 1,000. I'm going to do whatever I can. It was kind of just like, I'm going to just let it come to me. And so, when I got it, it was when we played, Evansville. And I didn't even know I had it. Well, I kind of knew, but my mind wasn't on it. Like, when I had went to the bench, one of my teammates was like, congrats on your 1,000 point. So yeah. So
did that, I guess, almost like that record or that benchmark, did that motivate you in any way or form even more, or it was like, yep, I'm going to play my game the way I normally play it?
Yeah, I kind of felt like I was just going to play my game like normally, because like if I do it like that, then it's just going to come. If I have my mind on it, then it's just not going to happen.
Okay.
In my opinion.
All right. And you played for 4 years now. You're in your fifth year. Like,
Mhm.
what made you decide? What made you decide to go with the fifth year of college basketball? What led to the transfer?
Okay, so first I'll start with the transfer. So that was the reason I transferred was just because it was just a lot going on, and I felt like it was just time for me to blossom somewhere else. Um, I don't want to dig too deep because it was a lot. And that's kind of the reason. Well, I feel like I was going to take a fifth year anyway because of COVID, but it's kind of like I'm in a situation where I have to because I want to get my degree.
And
Like
what are you
I
studying?
could have had a possibility to go play like overseas this year, but I want to get my degree. So
Okay, and what are you studying?
criminal justice.
Criminal justice. Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. And you said that you had an offer to play overseas. You wanted a degree first. Is playing overseas still on the books for on the cards for afterwards,
Most
or
definitely.
most definitely? What
Yes.
would be your dream location be other than the United States? Anywhere overseas, where would you want to play?
Um, I would probably want to play in like France. Yeah.
Okay. Why?
I don't know. I just feel like it's beautiful there. Really, any place I will be blessed to go because I feel like overseas it's kind of like you can start somewhere and then like build up. So, but I mean, anywhere that's you know, um, beautiful, I'll enjoy it.
You like a good location, and obviously France. Depending on where you are, most places in France are very beautiful. So
Mhm.
if you find a good spot, I think I highly recommend it. Be living abroad for a while, so
Mhm.
um, that's going to be interesting. Now, we believe you are an LA Sparks fan. I want to transition the conversation a little bit. You think the growth of the WNBA has led to more opportunities for female players? What do you think is the current state of women's basketball?
Um, I think women's basketball should be expanded more. Because it's giving and I feel like which is really not on the WNBA, but I feel like more money should be like involved in the WNBA to give more women a chance. Like you see all these women that's getting waived and all that. So I don't know. I just think it just needs to be expanded, honestly.
In general, or in the WNBA, do you mean more teams in the US,
Hmm.
or what? Okay.
Yeah, more teams in the U.S. just to give more women opportunities.
And
And I feel like in the WNBA, what's also making it harder is a lot of the women that's like older in age that's still in the league. So I
mm,
mean, it's only so much I guess the WNBA can do if they're not ready to stop playing it. So
so you're saying we need a few people to retire for to
yes,
make some room for the next generation?
yes,
And I think the most recent March Madness has shown that there is a lot of talent
right.
for the next generation that's coming through the ranks. Um, that makes a lot of sense. Um, Now, how much do you think this, like say, the WNBA or even March Madness is playing a role in the growth of women's basketball?
I feel like it's a big role in just younger kids to see that okay they see this and they wanna play have dreams to like go to college, play basketball professionally. So I feel like it has a big effect on kids. I feel like.
Almost being a role model then.
Sir, I couldn't hear you.
It's almost being a role model for the next
Right,
generation.
right. I feel like that's all. That's what it really is. Like because you see, like if you ask any female basketball players that's in college, like they have like a person that they looked up to, like in the league. So if we can have like people that's right now in college trying to go, if they can go, that's better for the league, for younger kids.
So who did you look up to when you were younger, or who are you still looking up to right now?
Candace Parker.
And why is
Candace
that?
Parker, Lisa Leslie, even though like she's like, you know, way like before my time. But yeah, Candace Parker, Lisa Leslie.
And what made them special for you?
I think Candace Parker, like her ability to do like her versatility, like her being able to do like a lot. Um, Lisa Leslie, just like her charisma and just like everything, like how she, like the nails, like she was more like one of the females that was like more, she like she had a style, so that girly style that I like.
She definitely had a very unique style of play, and
Right.
it's interesting. Do you specifically train for some of that style then? Do you go through some drills you're like, oh, I really like this move?
I feel like when it comes to mine, like I know one person, one summer I was working, like moves is Carmelo Anthony with his jab step. I feel like he had like my assistant coach. We would look at his highlights and just show like how his different different jab steps he did and different moves off his jab steps. So that's one person.
So
He has a leap jab step, and he's so quick.
So definitely emulating some of what the best are doing in the training. That's great. We have a segment that we call Pro Advice, where we ask our audience to send us questions to ask you. So we have 2 questions from our audience.
Okay.
The first submission reads: I went to a very good high school. Oh no, I went from a very good high school player to a decent college player, but the big crowds at the game are making me very nervous. Do you have any advice on dealing with that?
The advice I can say is just play like no one's in there. Just play like it's like, you just gotta zone in into like your own world and everything, and like just, take a deep breath and like just, one step at a time.
How do you get into the zone?
I feel like I kind of get into the zone like as the game like kind of goes or whatever. Like, you kind of get some mistakes out the way, because like when tip is about to start, you get those butterflies in your stomach. You're very nervous, but over time, like this is gonna be like my 5th year. So like over time, like it kind of just kind of to it just you're prepared to worry about like always it's too nervous or so.
I think you cut out for a second for me there.
Hear me?
No, unfortunately, no.
You can hear me now?
Now I hear you better. Yes.
Okay, you can hear me? Hold on.
Well, as much as we love technology, sometimes good Wi-Fi connection is all you need. Unfortunately, that seems like we had a little bit of a trouble here. So hopefully Chelsea will be able to come back with a better Wi-Fi connection, with a more stable connection. Definitely one aspect that you mentioned here is how you really need to focus on blending out the crowd, how you need to play your own game, or do your thing, and not really worry about what the crowd is saying, what they're thinking. So let's see if we can get Chelsea back on here. There you are. You're back.
I'm back. Sorry. I may be having technical difficulties because the service here is bad.
Well, good Wi-Fi goes a long way, and sometimes we only see what we have when we lose it, right? That's the beauty. It's like love, almost.
Right.
So let's recap from that last question. In our Pro Advice segment, we had a submission that asks, I went from a very good high school player to a decent college player, but the big crowds of the game are making me very nervous. Do you have any advice of dealing with that?
So the advice, I was saying that, with the big crowds and everything, you just gotta like tune it out, not basically saying like, like ignore but like just to keep your focus like at a good point in a stance, because a crowd can easily like just one bad comment that you might not like throw you off your game, because you already got probably the opposing team telling you things, talking trash. So that's the advice I would give, and like being like very prepared, because when you prepared and everything, like all that stuff, it don't even faze you.
And I think I followed up with asking how you can actually zone that out, as in how do you have any sort of routine that helps you with that?
No, I really don't have a routine, really. Like I just really like my thing is to like, all right, let me just, do the best that I can, score a bucket or like do something like that to get my confidence up to where it's just like I'm not even worried about y'all. So, yeah.
I think one aspect that you just mentioned was other players talking trash, or maybe the crowd talking trash. Is trash talking still pretty prevalent, and how do you deal with that?
Yeah, it's pretty it's still there. Like I was saying, the thing I would kind of do is like I'm gonna show you better than I could tell you. So, trying to get a bucket, or trying to flaunt a little bit to show like like to basically just shut them up, really.
So it almost motivates you more?
What'd you say? I'm sorry.
Does it almost motivate you more when the opposing team talks trash?
Yeah, very much.
Okay, that's interesting. Because, like it depends on the level of trash talking, I guess.
Right.
Have there been instances?
I feel like for me, like I'm not just this like, just over the top like trash talker, because I just let my game like do the talking, honestly. But sometimes you just have to, I've had like situations before, like it was fans in the crowds, and like so they were saying stuff, so I would do stuff and like talk back. So it's kind of fun too sometimes, because like sometimes it's funny. Just gotta laugh it off.
So you're almost like you're playing with the crowd then?
Yeah, kind of. Like I'm gonna make you mad. But also with that, sometimes like it gets hard, because it's like, all right, in your mind it's like I don't want to mess up. So but I mean, in the game of basketball, mistakes happen and all that. So I feel like one thing with me is like if I make a mistake, I'll try to like hold on to it too much. But if that comes with the game, you just gotta let it go.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Now, as a state champion, you've gone through a lot of leadership as well. We have a second submission that asks us, where my high school coach made me the captain of the school basketball team this year, but I'm really shy. How do I make myself into a better leader and captain?
I say communication. To the rest of the game, like more than that, like it starts to practice whenever practice, stay y'all condition and running. I feel like the big thing with being a leader is to be first, you know, teammates, so like going off beat this time, or you know, it's a very challenging position, but it's always very easily.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Seems like yeah, now you're back. It makes a lot of sense. Now, one aspect that we briefly touched on was your transfer. How easy was navigating the transfer portal? Did you use the transfer portal, and if so, how easy was it navigating? And who convinced you to go to Indiana State, or were there other options? What made that decision?
So when I entered the portal, it was very like the whole process was very overwhelming because like it didn't matter what time it'll be. Like it'll be 7 o'clock in the morning, 9 o'clock in the morning. Like I see a call, and I ain't gonna lie. Sometimes like I would just see them calling, and I would just still go to sleep because I would just be tired, and I would just like have to just reach back to them. But I feel like it was easier for me because I kind of knew that I was going to Indiana State. So that's why when it came to like visits, I only took one visit, and that was there. I didn't just want to waste people's time and their money when I knew where I was going. But so the reason I went to Indiana State was because one of my assistants from Nichols, Chad Killinger, he got the head coaching job at Indiana State. So yeah, and it's crazy because another college coach, he gave me a piece of advice, and he was telling me to, you know, in your process of going to a school, he was like, I suggest you to go somewhere where you either know someone, where the transition could be, you know, easier, you could be more comfortable. So that was really like set in stone. And my old teammate Anna McKendry, she was at Indiana State, and we played together and did great at Nichols. So I was just like, why not have a chance to play with her for one more year? So I feel like for me, my transition into the portal and everything was, it was simple with me choosing the school. But the only thing I can say was all the other schools contacting me and trying to bribe me. You know, it was overwhelming. Very much.
No, it sounds, I mean, it sounds like you already had your decision made, so that's very helpful. And obviously, these personal relationships are very helpful in this type of decision making. Now, did NIL play a role in what some of these other schools were offering? They were like, "Hey, we have this in the sponsorship deal," or how do you go about that, or how did they go about that?
Nah, they ain't really. I can say like one thing though, like when it came to like me choosing a school, like not even NILs, just like money that like we would be getting, like our stipends and stuff. Like Indiana State was like a school that like it's a good amount of money to receive, and that was like a big thing for me because at Nichols it wasn't a lot of money like you know that we were getting. So
I mean,
even other schools, like they would kind of tell me the amount, and it was, I mean, it was cool, but I feel like between all the schools that were contacting me, Indiana State was like up there with it. And I'm not trying to say like it was all about the money or anything, but I mean, I do have to support myself.
gotta live somehow, right?
Right.
And no, that makes a lot of sense, and in terms of the support that you get. And it's not always the money, but it's also I guess hey, we really care, we want you here, and we are ready to commit some resources to this. I think that's what's quite helpful as well.
Right.
And now, as you're with that transition, what are some goals for the rest of the 2023 for you?
I mean, my big goal is to be able to get an accolade in the NBC. I feel like I was robbed from being on all newcomer team. But you know, that's my goal for this year, is to just grind harder to be able to get that. So yeah, that's really my one big goal, is that you know, try to lead the team as much as I can, to, you know, whenever we get to the tournament, to try to win. And I feel like my last goal is just to get that degree, to graduate. I'm so excited. So
Well,
yeah.
well, that's a really big goal as well. Obviously, that's something that we always talk about, that student athletes,
Right.
and those degrees are definitely what set you up for a long future as well.
Right.
That makes a lot of sense. Um, if you could make one change to women's basketball, what would that be? Sorry, I lost you for a second. I think you're
Can it
back
be
now.
like anything from like middle school to high
It could
school?
be anything. One
Okay.
change to women's basketball.
I feel like one change needs to be, and it's cool for middle school. But high school, I feel like there should be a shot clock. I feel like, because having a shot clock is it changes the speeds of the game. And I feel like a way that young girls could get, you know, equipped to that early is them having a shot clock in high school. So because, you know, teams, which it's, you know, they hold the ball, when in all actuality, like, how are you helping your, you know, your players when they're just going to try to hold the ball for 3 minutes, when on the next level, you're not going to be able to do that. You know,
Yeah.
like in high school, like we've lost games because teams, like, you know, try to hold the ball for like, which I guess, like, whatever, it's a good strategy when you don't have a shot clock, you know, but in college, you know, it doesn't work like that.
So you think it would prepare the players better for the next stage then?
Because it's always like, you always hear, the speed of college basketball is so fast, it's so much faster and everything. Like, okay, that's because of a shot clock. So that's why it should be incorporated in high school. And I think that's the one big adjustment that, like, you know, I feel like is in college basketball, is the speed of the game. Which, I mean, over time you get adjusted to it, but it could be very simple if a shot clock was added.
No, that makes a lot of sense. Be interesting to see that, and obviously that's a pretty interesting breaking the rules of what we currently have. So
Right.
adjusting the speed and pushing
Right.
these young players earlier
Right.
to play rather than to just hold on to the ball. That's interesting.
Right. Just hold on to the ball as long as they can.
Yeah, we don't want that. That's not good for the fans, and it's definitely not good for the development of the individual player.
Right.
Now, I want to be cognizant of your time, but I won't let you go without asking you for your advice for the next generation of basketball players.
Okay. So just like some universal type advice?
Whatever you think is your biggest learning that you would want to pass on to the next generation.
Okay. One big piece of advice for me is confidence, and trusting yourself. See what else? And just one thing is, I'm trying to make sure I get everything. Is always pushing yourself. Always pushing yourself when you don't feel like it, or because it always works out in the end. So that's my one big advice. I feel like it's kind of hard for me to give advice because it's just like I'm kind of still going through life, like learning and everything. So, I feel like that's just my piece of advice for me right now as a 21-year-old. that I could give to younger kids, so, or just anyone.
That's awesome. Now, I do want to follow up, and I think that was really good advice, but I do want to follow up on one thing that you just mentioned, particular pushing yourself when you don't feel like it.
Mm-hmm.
How do you do that?
Whew. So, like, one example I can give is, like, say we're running, and, like, you feel like you're probably, like, about to die. Like, it may feel like that because it's just, like, your mind is telling you that. Like, you have to be stronger than your mind, because your mind is gonna just put things, you know, that it's really not what it is. Like, and I'm not trying to say, like, you can most definitely, like, if your body is very feeling like you're probably about to, like, you know, pass out or anything, like, you should most definitely listen to your body. But I feel like most of the time it's just like, it's not really the case. Like, your body may have that extra push, but your mind may not. So it's just like, just being mindful that, you know, you're stronger than what you think.
Okay. I think that's a really good follow-up to how to do it. And
Right.
That's really good detail. Thank you for that piece of advice. As I said, I want to be cognizant of your time. I also want to mention Chelsea's experience. So on the SPRTER app, head over there, check it out, connect with her through all of the awesome experiences she has over there, and follow along on all of the social media profiles. She got Instagram, she's got a Twitter at Chelsea Cain and Instagram at Chelsea Cain, and she's on the SPRTER app. So check her out there. We'll link out to all of the profiles, and wish you all the best with your 23 goals, as well as on a professional level, as well as on the studying level. Go and get that degree, and then hopefully you'll get to explore some of the world playing basketball.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Thank you for joining the SPRTER Podcast, and have an awesome day.
You too.
Thanks. Bye.
Bye.